Nice to see you all.
So how would you describe the early stages of your ownership of Coventry and the challenges you've faced so far?
Well, it's very early, isn't it? I mean, it was only, I think it was Tuesday when we finally got the EFL approval and concluded the deal with my partners at Sisu. So, what a week on from that. We're in the middle of a transfer window. There's been lots going on. I like to just, get involved, have a look, get to know the people a little better, and just, focus on what we need to focus on, and, work out my sort of timetable as we look forward with this change of owner.
The stadium is clearly an area of focus.
Listen, I think it's clear that obviously there's separate ownerships, but you know what I mean. Everybody in the press, they will make their conclusions about who's going to do what, and he wants to do this and all this sort of thing. And obviously we had that little session where obviously the stadium came up into administration, which was and everybody should put in what they want to do with the stadium, and the Frasers Group got the stadium. They're an absolutely professional outfit. They're moving their business, I think, in a very positive way. In sort of branding up market. They're in a big development stage. So I'm very positive with the outlook for the situation. And I actually think the interim arrangement was probably sensible, just because when there's change all round, you're better off having an interim and let the parties understand each other than just have an extension over a lot of years that may not be appropriate for what the two groups want to do. So we certainly have had some very loose conversations, but I'm feeling positive about the way forward. But clearly, it is only with us until the end of the season at this point, and so it is right at the top of my list to focus on that. From my viewpoint, you can only buy something if somebody is selling it to you. And I believe that the Frasers Group have a broader strategy around the region, and in fact the stadium is part of that. So if that is the case, then obviously we will work closely with them, because I believe that the club should be at the stadium at this point and for the foreseeable future, because any future stadium type of activity is a huge way in the future if it ever does occur. It's not going to be in 1, 2, 3 years. I mean, in today's world of supply chain disruptions, high interest rates, cost of capital, it's not going to be in 5 minutes. But for me, I'm just focusing on what I focus on, which is get immersed, have a look at the priorities, and from that sort of work out my strategy for the club to get us where we need to be to drive the club forward.
What is your vision for the club, and why will Coventry City make greater progress under you?
What happened? This league's a difficult league. There's a glorious end point that everybody dreams about, and then getting there, especially with the way it's skewed with parachute payments and what have you, it just gets awkward, right? So you have to be sensible, or you get yourself in big trouble. And when you get yourself in big trouble and you spend too much money and it ain't really working, you get very defensive. So what you do then is you shut up shop, you flog a few players, and you've survived, but it ain't doing anything. It's just surviving. And so I think that where I'm going to sort of alter that is I'm going to run it absolutely properly, because I'm not here to just throw money around for willy-nilly reasons. It has to be done properly. And actually money doesn't necessarily get you where you want to go. We look at stuff like Everton and other areas where they've spent a huge amount of money but probably not as productively as they want to do it. So what we need to do here is secure our talent, increase the quality of the squad, make sure that we're up towards the upper ends of the championship, and knocking on doors. Part of the deal is that we have recapitalised it, and the new holding company above, obviously Otium at the minute, is a company called Cov City Co. That is fully capitalised, and there is no debt into the club from the date of takeover. And what I'm really excited about is the manager, great discussions, great logic, and so that's my most, I would say, positive thing is we get on and we understand each other. And that was something I wasn't sure of, obviously, before I could properly get in and have those discussions. So that's a very big positive, I think, for Coventry City Football Club that we've got Mark at the helm. I made it clear, I think, I don't know, 2 months ago, that we didn't want to be a selling club. I mean, to get where we want to get to, if you keep selling your best players, you're probably going to fail. You may balance the books for a bit, and then you go again and you go again. Listen, if a player, wants to leave and he doesn't want to be at our club, and he just, if that's his psychology, what can you do? For me, I want to make them be at our club. I want them to see where we're going to go. I want them to get where they need to go in their careers with us. That's the goal. Now, obviously, it's early, so I can't really prove much at this point, but they will get a feeling over the next 6 months what we're doing, how it feels. Are things changing? Does it look like we're, walking the walk and not just, talking the chat? And so that's the goal. But for me, obviously, Vic is a pivotal player for our team. He's top striker in the Championship. And for me, I don't want him going anywhere. Can you promise fans there will be better communication with them going forward? Absolutely, there will be. Just because we need the fans, we need the community with us, right? I mean, if we want to keep our best players, if we want to challenge upwards constantly every single season and knock on that playoff door and get through that door, we're going to need everybody on board. We're going to need everyone on board supporting this club, getting to the stadium, being part of the journey. And I need to make that clear, and I will be making that clear during the month of February. I'll be out and about. Being much more vocal. I mean, I see some stuff, frustration of the club communicating, me not communicating after the discussions at the stadium, blah, blah, blah. That's because I've been waiting for approval. And it's very awkward when you're in an EFL process and you've got no credentials to just chat. And then I come in and I'm a week in and I'm finding I'm immersing. But the reality is, as I get a clearer picture, I like to communicate. I want the fans with us. I want the community to be behind us. And so, yeah, absolutely, we'll be doing that. We're in the middle of the January window. I always think, new owner comes in, everybody sorts of adding a few noughts everywhere. I'm a trader, right? I mean, I like to come in stealth-wise. And in fact, obviously, we've come in and there's a new owner and everybody thinks what they want to think. For me, spending money is all about spending it properly. If you're spending money on absolute quality, then you should spend money on absolute quality who's going to get you to where you want to go. Spending money badly just to spend money to make a statement is money that I'd rather have in the bank to do something in the future. So look, I'm an experienced negotiator and trader. I like to spend well, but I'm not scared to invest when I believe the right time is to invest. I can't tell you where we'll be where we'll be, but the goal is, as I said in the previous discussions with Jonathan, is to be mid upwards, challenging on the playoffs, and keeping the quality at the club and building on that quality.
But what is Coventry City's sort of future role for Coventry and for Warwickshire as well? Because there's plenty of fans and infrastructure there as well.
Look, I mean, 400,000 people in Direct City, 1 million people with a CV postcode. It's untapped, right? I mean, they haven't had it around this area for a long time. We haven't been into the Premier League since 2001, and it's hard to get there. Let's not kid ourselves. It's hard to get there. Obviously, I don't come into football ownership to plod along and lose a load of money sitting bottom end of the table and mucking about. I want to get us there. I want to give it a proper go. It may not work, but I'll do it properly. I'll engage properly, because I think the most exciting thing in life is the journey. And if everybody's on a journey and they see what's going on and they think they can help with it and they're enjoying being part of it, if you don't win on that journey and don't get where we get to, it's still going to be a good journey. And that's life, right? So from my perspective, if we do win, it changes everything, because you're up, you have a parachute payment, and you're suddenly a Premier League club that allows you then to deploy that additional revenue where you decide to deploy it, which allows it to spill down much more positively to the community, to the academy, to obviously the training ground we chatted about. All these things are then possible to get it shaped up for good, right? As we said, 40 years we've been sitting at Brighton, right? Whatever it is, nobody's done anything, have they? Nobody sat here before me and changed it. So, I'd love to be able to be the one that did, in time, at least get the infrastructure set up for the club in a positive way. But we can only really do that easily or without spending a fortune of money that we may want to deploy elsewhere by getting to the top division. So that's where I sit it. I think it'll be hugely powerful, but the journey, I think, is also where I think we'll all have a lot of fun, I hope. Thanks, guys. All the best.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
See ya.